Right, y'all, the new update is here. Water skip is the biggest news. Definitely gonna change the game for sure. A new water disc pack is there. A whole new user interface that's gonna take a lot of getting used to. Christmas decorations. So for the water skip to actually work, you gotta meet some requirements, a certain angle, certain speed. So it's gonna take some getting used to for sure. There's an event right now. If you want to try it out, you don't want to buy the pack yet, but you want to try out some water skip discs, then go ahead and try it out. We're going to get into one of the rounds here in a little bit, and I'm going to play around with some of these discs, hopefully show you where they might come in handy. This is the pack that they have right now. There's a musket, a Rive, and a sapphire. I haven't bought it yet, but definitely plan on it. So here we go. All right, guys, so let's get into it. You can see I've played the first 3 rounds. That's pretty much the extent of my experience with the water skip discs. You know, initially I was thinking, I don't know how much this is going to be a factor in the game. I just couldn't think of a disc that I'd want to replace for a water skip disc. But the more I think about it and some of the stuff I've read in Discord, some of the shots I've seen already, it's going to be a huge game-changing factor to be able to have discs that can skip off water. I think it's going to hinder some people at first just because it's going to be hard to know when to even try to skip off water and when to just go with what you're used to. If it ain't broke, then why try to fix it kind of mentality. But there's definitely some holes that it's going to be a huge advantage to have some sort of a disc that skips. I feel like a straight distance driver that has the skip attribute is going to be the biggest complement to our current bags. My biggest challenge is just going to be finding a spot for it, man. I don't even know what I would take out. I already have trouble. I can't even squeeze in the Glide Skip Captain because I don't have a spot. I wish they would use this as a time to introduce a couple more bag spots, but unfortunately that isn't the case. But here we go. You can see on round 2 I was just playing around a little bit trying to get used to some of these discs and skipping off water and how to do it and when it's going to be useful or not. So we'll get into round 4 and hopefully show you guys some examples and talk through the new user interface as well, because that's going to take a lot of getting used to. Kind of wishing I would have not updated the game until after this season's over, because I'm battling for that top 25, but it's going to be a lot harder. And I hear Maple Hill is now in multiplayer, so that's another huge factor for multiplayer, especially there's only a few more days left of this season. But here we go. So the user interface, man, it's just so the wind over here just smaller. I think it's red whenever it's 3 or 4, and then it's green when it's 1 or 2. The arrow changes color. It's just a lot smaller, so definitely got to pay attention there. The whole aim thing looks different. The whole screen looks different, basically forehand to backhand. My biggest thing is the power. I feel like that's going to be the biggest adjustment, is the pull down. Those Wi-Fi lines are just skinnier, and it's going to, especially shots where I kind of power down, it's going to be a lot harder to get used to kind of when to stop and when to, so that's going to be the biggest factor for me, is just the pull down. But let's get into this. It's taking too long. So for this shot, I usually go accurate roll sapphire, but we don't. Let's have some fun here and go accurate skip. Let's do the water skip musket. I think that's going to make sure we land short. I'm going to do backhand. Again, it's hard to know if you can. Oh, this wind, I feel like I'm going to carry it with the musket. So I'm going to go with the Explorer here. And again, this is a hole I wouldn't even change. I wouldn't even consider skipping off the water here. So if it ain't broke, don't fix it. So I wouldn't even try here. This is probably going to hit this tree and be well short. We'll see if it makes it. Oh, just short there. Let's try it one more time. I don't want to take too long with this video, but let's throw the musket and just power it down a little bit. Let's try that. This looks a little better, but again, it's probably going to make it across. So I don't think this is one of the holes where it's going to be useful. Maybe in like a big headwind and you have the right skip disc in your bag, but for the most part, I have no trouble on. This is one of the easiest holes on Enzo, in my opinion. So I'm off the cage into the water there. So I don't see this hole as a good option to try to skip it off the water. I think plenty of people are going to try, and it's probably going to make it harder for them. Same with this hole. I mean, you can carry it no problem, so I don't see why you'd even want to to try to skip it across, but for the sake of this video, see, I gotta look at the wind. Oh, we got a strong wind here. This is the Explorer. See what happens here. So that was kind of fun. Sweet little shot there, but again, I wouldn't change my approach on this hole just because I can skip it off the water. Doesn't mean I'm gonna go hunting after the water. But so awesome. People have been asking about this for quite some time. Now this one, I mean, this is a challenging shot to hit, so this could definitely be one that I'm excited to try this one with this Sapphire. So I typically go backhand Sapphire here. So I'm going to try a forehand and see if we can, got a calm wind. I turned it too much. I'm gonna have to rethrow this one. Sorry guys. And then it just takes, you got to practice all your new aim points. It's just so much work to try to build this in. But again, there's definitely some holes where it's going to be worth it to have a disc in your bag that can skip across water. And this might be one of them. But then you got the rocks and stuff that also make it challenging. See, I skipped it, but I didn't go in the right angle. So I'm just going to, my typical throw here. You can see like, oh shoot, I forgot to switch it to backhand. Oh well. Again, I'm taking too long here. Worked out with forehand as well. Again, I don't think this is one of the holes that I would change either. Got that to drop. Although it could be a possibility. This one, again, you got to get it just right. And even if you make the water, see, I don't think, no, because even with the glide skip, I was hitting, no, there's no way this is a factor on this hole. So even on your second shot, there's no reason to even go for the water. The first shot takes a glide skip, a big skip from the land, so I don't think, maybe if you had a huge tailwind you could carry it to the water, but it's hard enough getting to the water, so definitely a non-factor on that hole. This hole could be kind of a safety thing, like if you think you might land short. Otherwise I can't see it being a factor either. Let's try the musket here. I usually throw the AccuRoll Sapphire. I'm not really showing you guys very good examples because I'm not hitting the water, but that's just showing you how challenging it is. And I have a feeling people are gonna hurt themselves more than help themselves, at least initially, until they start to figure it out when it's worth trying it and when it's not worth it. Again, this hole, not worth it. There's definitely, oh, did I throw forehand there? Greg had told me it's a lot easier to make the mistake forehand to backhand on the new user interface, so definitely something I got to keep an eye out for. Green is backhand, orange is forehand. Let's see here. The other hole on this course that you can cross the water, I can't remember off the top of my head which hole number it is, but definitely comes in the water. The skip can be a factor on that one, where when you have a big tailwind, you can carry it to the middle island. I go over to the right on the cabana, but if you have the water skip, you might be able to go across to the big island every single time. So that's going to be one of the holes. This one, I mean, again, I don't think so. I wouldn't change my approach here. Let's try the Explorer just to make sure we hit water. And even then, there's so much ice there, you don't know if you're going to, I wonder if you hit ice first and then water. No, we still didn't make it. Just not. I'm kind of hoping when it comes to multiplayer, people are going to be trying to skip it more than they should and hurting themselves, but we'll see. Most of the good players are smarter than that and aren't going to be doing that. Again, a straight distance driver with the skip. Oh, this is ugly. I'm sorry, guys. I think that's going to be the disc that you're going to want in your bag, is the straight distance driver. Oh, shoot. I just want to finish. I'm not trying to. Got all the decorations on the winter courses. It's awesome at first. I feel like after a few weeks of it, you get a little tired of it and they start getting in the way, but it's fun to see, especially this time of year. I'm a big fan of the Christmas stuff. And then it does add some stuff to the courses you got to be mindful of. So this one could be a factor, although, I mean, then you can go this route every single time, I guess. But even so, even when I go this route, I don't have any problem carrying it. So, but that'll give you an example of a possibility for that hole. You can take it a little wider and just more of a, you don't have to cut it quite as sharp to make it. You can put it out wider and just let it skip up there, and you don't end up going as long. So that could be a hole that it would definitely be useful. This one, nah, not so much. Try to have fun with the musket. Power it down. It's not going to go very far. Shoot. That wasn't very good. A little better this one. But I like to ace run this one, so it wouldn't change anything for me here. So I don't know, mixed feelings. I think there's definitely certain holes, and I'll probably try to put a video out later once we get some discs, once I get some good discs. Certain holes that it's going to be very advantageous to have a water skip disc. As far as the new user interface, again, my biggest factor is going to be the pull down on certain shots. It's going to take some getting used to. Maybe the forehand, backhand. I got to be mindful of that, not make that mistake, and then just paying attention to the wind with it being so much smaller. But overall, some exciting things that's going to change the game. Again, Maple Hills and multiplayer. We got water skip disc coming out. You'll see the attributes show up in the shop, as well as different rewards and whatnot. So there you go, guys. Let's see. I think that was the last round. Let's see what we get for the event rewards. So we got an accurate skip explorer. So pretty sweet. It's gonna be fun to play with. I think I'm gonna be looking out for a distance driver, like an understable straight, like a turn water skip Rive or Cloudbreaker, or I don't know. I got to think about it more, which disc I want, but that's going to be the challenge, is actually getting that disc with the water skip attribute will be the biggest challenge, unless you win an event and get to choose which disc you put it on. Only some of the top players are going to have the disc that they want for a while, so we'll see how big of a factor it is right away. I think it's going to hurt players a lot more than help them initially, but as the game evolves, it's definitely going to be a huge factor in this game. But as always, guys, thanks for watching me play some DGV.